We begin tonight with breaking news, a report of a robbery. Authorities are at the scene right now at Trax Liquor Store in Dilworth.
Now, we just talked with someone at the store who said a man walked in with a handgun a few minutes ago. They indicated that he took a lot of money and then left. We're trying to get confirmation of a description that was given over the scanner. We also have a reporter and a crew headed that way and hope to have an update for you shortly.
In other news, so many of us today thanked or thought of someone who is serving or has served in the military. And on days like today, it may even cross your mind to take the next step and join the armed forces.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly sat down with a member of the U.S. Army National Guard to see how it's trying to raise awareness about military careers and increase incentives to get you to join.
When you see a person in uniform, many think of those who serve on the front lines. But in today's world, serving in the military is much more.
We have technology, we have, military police, we have cybersecurity, we have nursing, medical. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on.
The Army just launched their new What's Your Warrior ad campaign, explaining that the forces go beyond combat and offer 150 unique careers and 8 broad specialty areas. Sergeant Jason Copley has been with the U.S. Army National Guard for nearly 14 years, and he says serving is much more than people think. It's an opportunity to find a career path that works for you.
When you go out looking for a job, one of the things that most employers are looking for is experience, and that's something that, being part of the North Dakota Army National Guard, we can give you that with the job training that we provide.
You can do this all while receiving benefits and incentives. If you're looking for an education, Sergeant Copley says they can help.
We can cover up to 100% tuition on select schools in the state of North Dakota. Plus, depending on what job you choose, select jobs that if you qualify for them, you'll receive a $20,000 sign-on bonus.
And if you've already gone through college and may be struggling to pay off loans, they can take care of up to $50,000. Sergeant Copley says if you have ever had any questions about what serving means, just reach out, because you never know until you ask.
If you're thinking about it, if you've ever thought like, hey, the Guard could be something for me, is talk to somebody who's knowledgeable about it.
In Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
If you're interested in joining the military, we have more information on our website, including Sergeant Copley's direct contact.
One North Dakota Army veteran has continued his service well beyond the Vietnam War. In 1967, Robert Olszewski was drafted, and the following year he served in the Vietnam War, where he received his Purple Heart and was awarded the Army Commendation Medal. In 2008, he retired from the military, joined the Vets Post 9 in Bismarck, where he continues to participate in a variety of military activities, including the Honor Guard.
I've seen people lost their lives and stuff, and then when I got back home, I heard from those families and stuff, so it means a lot to me. It's an honor to stand there and give something back.
Olszewski says it has never about the awards and honors that he received. It was more about protecting the soldiers around him.
University of North Dakota police are actively looking for a man who broke into the Gamma Phi Beta sorority house. It's located on campus along University Avenue. Around 5 this morning, students living there say the man was caught taking pictures of a woman who was sleeping. The man is described as being between 5'5" and 5'8" and was wearing dark clothing.
A 19-year-old is dead, another in critical condition after police say a 17-year-old shot them outside of Cashwise in Williston. Gunshots were reported around 8:30 last night behind the grocery store. That's where police found 19-year-old Matthew York dead and 19-year-old Parker Hayter seriously hurt. At about 4 this morning, police took the teenager into custody and charged him with murder. His name has yet to be released.
A stark warning tonight about what your kids could be doing on Instagram. Developers of the app announced tonight that those likes you're keeping track of will briefly start disappearing.
They say it's to do away with popularity contests, but a lot of users have already found a way around it. And as Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer found out, that move could give out your child's personal information.
I'm on Instagram every day.
Do you guys post every day? Or?
No, probably once a week.
Addison and Kelsey have been Instagram users for a long time now. In fact, they joined the social media site in middle school. But one thing that hasn't changed is the want and need to share pictures.
I think it's expected, especially with YouTubers nowadays. It's kind of the same thing, almost like a knockoff in a way.
But that hasn't been enough for some users, so they've turned to business accounts. That way, they can see how many people view the pictures they share.
I think it's scary, and I think they just are not able to think of all the repercussions of the things they put out there.
And that's what has moms like Kelly Hanukkah hitting the brakes. When you have a business account, you have the ability to display contact information like an email or phone number. That also gives you tools to check out how many people are looking at your pictures and videos.
We don't want them to put everything about their information out there.
But for Hanukkah, she isn't taking any chances. She's waiting for letting her 2 kids join any social media site until the right time. And same goes for this father of 2.
Will you let them ever have Instagram?
No, not as long as I can monitor it, no.
In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
Instagram previously said there are around 25 million business accounts, but claims that they didn't have any data on how many are run by users under 18.
For those of you still looking to fill this year's deer tag, Minnesota's DNR is asking that you properly dispose of the carcass. After the first weekend of hunting, they report several were found on the side of the road, putting drivers in danger. You can also bring it to a landfill or private land with permission from the landowner. Not disposing of deer correctly is a $135 fine in the state of Minnesota.
I mean, all the ethical hunters, we take our deer. Last year I took my deer, I took it to donate it to the food pantry.
Minnesota DNR says if you hit a deer with your car, you're still responsible for calling law enforcement to dispose of it. They also say there are several different dumps around the state for deer. For a list of those, you can head to our website, valleynewslive.com. Bundling up your kids during these cold months is second nature, but you might not know too many layers could be dangerous.
Safety experts say car seat straps must be tight in order to work properly. Gordon Severson has why thick winter coats can often get in the way of keeping your child safe.
You know, this is a perfect example of a 5-point restraint car seat.
Most parents never leave home without it. Just strap the kids in and go. But this time of year, doctors encourage an extra step before stepping on the gas, taking off your kid's winter coat.
It's much more puffy against the coat. Now your child has a tremendous amount of playroom where they're going to impact against the straps.
Dr. Gigi Chawla of Children's Minnesota says that slight barrier of a puffy coat can make all the difference. As this crash test video shows, it can either cause a second impact where a kid's chest slams into the strap, or it can eject the child out of the car seat entirely. But with no winter coat, how then do you keep your kid warm this time of year?
Once they're in there snugly, you can put their arms through and their jacket on backwards, just not zipped up in the back. You can use definitely some blankets and warm things over the top of their lap and over the top of their body.
Yes, it's a few extra steps, but when it comes to safety, Chawla says you can't take the easy way out.
It's actually really important to make sure that that car seat is fitting really snugly against your child.
Experts also say it helps to run the car a few minutes before you get in. That way it'll be warm when you put your child in their car seat.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Yes, indeed, it is cold outside. A look from our studios here in South Fargo at the downtown area, NDSU research area, as we do have some very cold air. In fact, it's the coldest it's been all day here in the FM area. Latest look over at Hector has us at 0 degrees, feeling like 10 below, even with a very light wind and only 5 miles per hour. 3 above the temperature in Moorhead, and we are either a couple of degrees either side of 0 right now as we head into the overnight hours. 1 below for Badette and Thief River Falls this hour. 2 below in Valley City, while it is 5 above in Devil's Lake right now. In Detroit Lakes, you are also at 5. Here's a look at the wind chills. They're anywhere from around -5 to -15 degrees. Bundle up out there. We don't have a whole lot of wind out there, but this cold pool of air really heading south. You'll notice Frisco is freezing. San Antonio not far behind them in the 30s right now. So the cold pool of air has dove right through the northern plains into the central plains for tonight. And that's kicking off snow showers as far south as central Texas.
And that wraps all the way back up along the Atlantic seaboard in the Ohio River Valley. For us, we're very quiet this evening, clear skies, very light winds. With the fresh flakes of snow on the ground, even though there isn't that many of them, that's a pretty good combination for some fast cooling. And that's what's going to happen between now and, say, just after midnight. Many of us will see temperatures fall below zero. But as we go through the deep hours of the overnight, as long as we don't get too brutally cold, I think the south winds picking up, particularly in our western counties, will have things starting to warm towards daybreak. Not hot. In fact, cold and even more wind chilly thanks to those winds. But temperatures will be very close to 0 to 5 above for most of us to start your Tuesday morning. Then as we go through the midday hours, temperatures will be warming thanks to south winds. We'll be in the teens to around 20 degrees for your lunch hour. And you think, wow, that sounds a lot warmer than it is right now, Hutch. 20 degrees warmer. But you know what? With these winds gusting to 30 or 35 miles per hour, it's going to feel very miserable outside. It's going to be wind chilly. We won't see much sun in the afternoon as we head into the latter portion of the day. The wind continues to gust out of the south as temperatures rise into the 20s for many of us. So brutally cold and windy on top of it for tomorrow. Even though the thermometer will be going in the right direction by tomorrow night, there's going to be a chance of snow developing. Our chances of snow in the valley increase as we go into the early hours on Wednesday, and we could have some shovelable snow there, measuring only a couple of inches the way it looks now in some places. Tomorrow morning, starting out at 5 degrees, warming up only into the 20s, but Hutch says, look out, it's going to bite tomorrow, those ears, because the winds will be between 25 and 30 miles per hour throughout most of the afternoon. Best chance for 20 to 25 is in eastern North Dakota and down south. Teens to near 20 for temperatures in northwest Minnesota. The squirrels getting smart, packing away some extra nuts out there. Aunt Donna capturing this snowy squirrel here, doing everything he can to, well, gather enough for what's turning into what could be a very long winter. All right, Wednesday, 29 degrees. Doesn't that sound nice and warm? It gets even better than that. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, woo-wee, warming up towards near 40 degrees. All in all, the Wednesday snow could add up to a little bit on the sidewalks out there, an inch or two. We'll keep you posted on that.
Sympathizing with that squirrel, aren't we?
Yeah,
of course. Up next on Valley News Live 10 at 10, our crew is on the scene and setting up. We'll get a live update on the armed robbery in Dilworth.